Right now at 5, protests happened all around the country over the weekend, and the 4 states was no exception.
And we've got a foggy start to the day for some of us out there. It's going to heat up and more rain on the way, the latest coming up.
Plus, the fallout following controversial social media posts made by the former Coffeyville commissioner.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Monday. It's June the 16th. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend.
Yeah.
We had some rain, had a few showers and storms out there. Thankfully,
there's a fly flying around this
more
morning.
Flying creatures. They never sleep, you know.
No,
I mean, I guess if you only live so long, you don't really do a lot of sleeping, do you?
No.
You might as well live it up, I guess. So, yeah, great flying creatures. But this is one of those things. Mother's Day weekend. We all thought at Mother's Day, we had like 3 different weekends we thought was Mother's Day, and then we were wrong. And so I didn't even realize yesterday was Father's Day until I saw stuff yesterday.
Oh, really?
Morning.
You didn't realize?
Yeah, I didn't even have the first clue. But that's all right. So hopefully everybody had a great weekend. Got a pretty decent Monday for us. And unfortunately, the severe threat begins to ramp up as we head into tomorrow and Wednesday. We're going to get to all of that. But first, let's get your Monday started. With that, look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Again, we got some cloudy skies. We also have some patchy fog out there, which we will show you here in just a moment. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking pretty good this morning as well. So here's the fog, and you can see where it stretches. Fort Scott, about 15-20 minutes ago, you were down to 0 visibility, and it's not like it's much better at 0.2 of a mile. Pittsburgh's 0.9, so just under a mile. But as you saw from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh, this is why it's patchy fog. We didn't see really all that much in downtown, but reporting reduced visibility. So we've got from Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada, Carthage, Joplin, Pittsburgh, and then down south, just into the southeastern corner of Delaware County, western portions of Benton County, some reduced visibility. So again, slow down, low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you've got them. You all at home know this drill by heart at this point. As for today, an isolated shower or storm will be possible. The majority of us will be dry. Skies will clear into the afternoon and evening, and temperatures will heat up accordingly as well with a light northeasterly breeze before it begins to switch overnight to night. However, over the next couple of days, we've got to pay close attention to the weather. So again, today, an isolated pop-up storm possible, with those chances very low. Tomorrow, though, we go from a level 1, 2, and 3 out of 5 risk for strong to severe thunderstorms across the area, and that carries into Wednesday as well with a level 2 out of 5 across the bulk of the area. Now for Tuesday, we already have, since it's tomorrow, they've already got the threats broken down, and at this point, all hazards are possible, but this level 3 out of 5 risk up here is primarily for damaging wind gusts. That's the highest concern that we have with thunderstorms rolling into Tuesday, and then we'll have those same hazards again as we roll into the thunderstorm chances on Wednesday. And as I mentioned, we're going to break it all down for you in detail here in just a bit. We're going to go over the timing on these storms and some of the variables in play with them as well. 65 in Joplin right now, 67 in Pittsburgh, and around the area, a fairly mild start to the day. The majority of us mid to upper 60s, getting close to 70 right now in Bentonville, sitting at 69. Through the day today, again, we'll have that fog. Could last through about 9 o'clock this morning. Mid-70s by 9, about 80 by noon. Mid, maybe even some upper 80s out there for our highs. And again, skies gradually clearing out there with that northeast breeze at around 5 to 10. Again, we have those increasing thunderstorm chances, and as we just showed you, they do carry a severe threat with them. We're going to break down the details for you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, nationwide No King's Day protests were all over the country on Saturday, and the 4 states were no exception. Citizens in Pittsburgh gathered at the Pritchett Pavilion to protest recent actions made by President Donald Trump, including his military parade in Washington, D.C., organized by the Crawford County Democrats. The rally's purpose is to bring together individuals with similar ideas.
Just having solidarity, seeing that there's other people with the same mindset and wanting to be more active in their communities. To me, this isn't necessarily a protest. It's an opportunity for people to get together and make a difference in their communities.
Live music was on site playing for the crowds that protested. The gathering did remain peaceful throughout the event. From Kansas to Missouri, people also gathering to protest in Carthage. About 200 gathered Saturday afternoon in Carthage at Central Park along Garrison Avenue, waving signs and cheering to cars honking or chanting along with some on a bullhorn. Now, it was a very peaceful gathering with people of all ages, ethnicities, and backgrounds. People brought coolers of water, even popsicles to keep people hydrated in the heat. Police were nearby, but were not needed. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, the Coffeyville City Commissioner has stepped down following community backlash to his social media post. Now, in the now deleted post, former Commissioner Don Edwards detailed an encounter he allegedly had with children at the City Aquatic Center. In response, community members accused Edwards of making sexually harassing comments about young women. Along with his resignation, Edwards says he's no longer seeking re-election. In his resignation letter to the commission, Edwards apologized, saying, quote, "The comment in question has caused a lot of upset in our community and is a distraction from the many positive things happening at the city of Coffeyville." In a statement, the Coffeyville mayor says the statements made by Edwards do not reflect the values, beliefs, or standards of the city of Coffeyville. She says the city commission, quote, "strives to create an environment that is respectful, inclusive, and safe for all our residents, especially our children." At a meeting last week, commissioners appointed former Commissioner Pam Jones to fill the position. And the city of Knoll rescinds the offer of a job position just ahead of a planned protest. Thursday, the city announced that Rhonda Wise would be transferred to a newly created parks position by the mayor. Wise is facing felony perjury charges in connection with the Missouri State Highway Patrol investigation of a fatal hit and run. Public protests had been planned for Friday morning at 10 in response to the transfer of Wise. At 10 Friday morning, the city released a statement saying the city council had met and voted to rescind the transfer of Rhonda Wise to the Rules of Code Enforcement and Events Administrator, a newly created position. And the protest did not happen and organizers declined to speak on camera. The mayor has also been contacted for a statement, and as of now, his office has yet to respond. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. A nonprofit tied to 23andMe's former CEO is set to take over the genetic testing giant. Plus, the manhunt has ended for the suspect who shot 2 Minnesota lawmakers and their spouses. And we have a warm and partly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, topping Nation Watch this morning, the nonprofit of 23andMe co-founder and former CEO Ann Wojcicki has won a bid to acquire the genetic testing company. Now, TTAM Research Institute will buy 23andMe for $305 million. This follows the company's bankruptcy filing in March when Wojcicki stepped down. 23andMe had collected genetic data through saliva samples from 15 million customers, but bankruptcy sparked concern about data privacy. Now, many worried their data could be sold to a third party, and a lawsuit was filed by more than 24 states Monday to block the sale of genetic data without customer consent. TTAM said it will comply with 23andMe's privacy policies and honor existing customer data rights policies. Well, the manhunt in Minnesota has ended. Last night, the suspect in the shootings of 2 Democratic state lawmakers and their spouses was taken into custody. Minnesota Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband died while the other 2 victims are recovering. Police say the suspect is believed to have impersonated a law enforcement officer at the time of the shootings, calling it a betrayal and deeply disturbing. Naomi Ruckham has more from New York.
Minnesota police say shooting suspect Vance Luther Bolter was armed when he was taken into custody overnight with no use of force.
The suspect crawled to law enforcement teams and was placed under arrest at that point in time.
Brooklyn Park's police chief said a breakthrough came yesterday in the search after police found the suspect's abandoned car in rural Sibley County. Multiple law enforcement agencies descended on the area and built a perimeter until they were able to locate the suspect with the assistance of a helicopter and infrared technology. Police say they believe the suspect acted alone in the shootings.
We will be exploring if there are any broader network. We have not uncovered any of that at this time.
The 57-year-old suspect now faces murder charges in the shooting deaths of Democratic State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark. A memorial of flowers on the steps of the state capitol have been placed in their honor. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has called the shootings politically motivated.
This cannot be the norm. It cannot be the way that we deal with our political differences.
The suspect is also charged with attempted murder in the shootings of State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette. Both are now recovering from their injuries. In a statement last night, the Hoffmans said they are grateful to law enforcement and added they are, quote, incredibly lucky to be alive. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Police say the investigation is ongoing into the suspect's motive and that he was interviewed last night by investigators. Authorities also say they are in contact with federal and local law enforcement in other states regarding a potential list of victims that was found by police in the alleged gunman's car. Well, still to come, a new study suggests that women who work night shifts can face a higher risk of asthma. Plus, Chris returns with another look at your Monday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, hot pursuit in the south was decidedly low-key and very low speed as a suspect led an hour-long police chase in a large construction vehicle, maxing out at a reported 3 miles an hour. Yes, that's 3. Jeremy Roth has that caught on camera action in today's Take a Look at This.
Police in South Carolina were involved in a not exactly hot pursuit with a person behind the wheel of a large excavator leading a chase down North Charleston streets at a reported 3 miles an hour. Really? An excavator? You'd have a better shot at losing the fuzz on a parade float.
They're very slowly getting away.
North Charleston officers say they were responding to another call when they spotted the excavator lumbering down a state road under what police called suspicious circumstances. Officers attempted to stop the large vehicle, but the operator fled, leading an hour-plus long low-speed chase with all the intensity of a funeral procession. Seriously, this thing makes driving Miss Daisy look like Bullet. The rolling and coasting roller coaster of action did eventually end, and a suspect was taken into custody. Speaking of slow rides and taking it easy, a stowaway cat is now doing just that after being found inside a shipping container that arrived in Minnesota after an apparent 3-week trip from China. WCCO reports the kitten was discovered when the container arrived in the St. Paul suburb of Oakdale.
It's incredible. I can only imagine 3 weeks in a container without food or water.
Officials say the kitten was dehydrated, but it has since been recovering at a local humane society, which already has a foster home lined up for the fearless feline, which doesn't yet have a name, but is currently being called Stowaway. Is the week over yet? Not quite, but feel free to take a cue from this bear at the Oregon Zoo, relaxing all rub-a-dub-dubby in a tubby fit for a chubby king. Everything good here, Cubby?
Yes, everything but the interruption. Away with you.
Okay, for Take a Look at This.
Is it wine o'clock yet?
I'm Jeremy Roth.
Let's head over to Chris now for a quick look at your forecast.
We've got some patchy fog out there this morning. We do have increasing storm chances tomorrow and Wednesday, the latest when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Just now 5:21 on this Monday morning. Fog tracker again, Fort Scott, you're back down to 0 visibility. So that's going to include some stretches of 69 and 54. And then we head down to Pittsburgh. You're getting close to 0 out there right now. And this is all into our northern counties. So we've got Bourbon, Crawford, Vernon, and Barton counties, and stretching into parts of Cherokee and Jasper counties. So again, if you're traveling this morning, as we've talked about, low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you have them. And also watch out just into the southern portions, Delaware and then western Benton counties. We also have some dense fog out there as well. And that could last through about 8, 9 o'clock this morning. Now, once that clears out, skies will begin to become partly cloudy and eventually will become clear overnight. An isolated shower or storm is possible, but overall the chances are very low through today. Now, as we head overnight tonight or into very early tomorrow morning, clouds begin to increase again, and we start to see shower and thunderstorm chances. We talked about just a moment ago the severe weather chances, and we're going to break down those details for you. So here's what we're looking at. We've got storms by 9 o'clock in the morning working into our northwestern counties into southeastern Kansas. Some of these, like this guy you saw go through parts of Chautauqua County down to Washington County, could be strong to severe, and that's the most impressive one on Future Track. But again, Future Track is guesstimating here. Any storms we see will have that capability. They'll become a bit more scattered as we head further into Tuesday afternoon, but those storms could continue to be strong, potentially severe. Outside of those storms, it's going to get hot. It's going to get very muggy. We're talking temperatures 90 or into the low 90s, and heat index values tomorrow could approach 100 degrees. Now, very early Wednesday morning, we get another round of strong to severe thunderstorms. This is our greatest risk initially, is this complex as it races through the area. But you'll also see that kind of dies out quickly as well. So that's the other variable in play here, is some of the model data is suggesting that, yeah, these storms are going to be packing a punch, but as they enter our area, they're also going to be in a dying state and may not have as widespread of a severe weather impact, but it is something we'll watch closely. Through the morning hours, a few isolated showers, a couple of rumbles of thunder for our Wednesday. Then as we go later into Wednesday afternoon and evening, especially along and south of I-44, another round of strong to possibly severe thunderstorms pushes through before that eventually clears out overnight. So again, here's what we've got over the next few days. Again, isolated storm or two today. Otherwise, up into our northwestern counties for tomorrow, we have that level 3 out of 5 risk. And then for Wednesday, good section of the area under that 2 out of 5 risk for strong to severe thunderstorms. So here's the breakdown for the risks heading into Tuesday. We have that isolated to scattered tornado risk out there, primarily into southeast Kansas, is where that risk is a little higher. Then we have the scattered hail risk and just kind of barely clipping Greenwood County at numerous risks. But as I mentioned earlier, the greatest concern is with the damaging wind threat. You saw that bow line coming through very early Wednesday morning, and I believe that's where that risk is going to ramp up, is with that complex of storms. But see how that tapers off quickly, because again, data suggests that those storms will begin weakening pretty quickly as they push south and east. All right, again, patchy fog through about 9 o'clock this morning. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy skies. We'll be into the upper 70s by 11 a.m. Highs today heading to the mid to upper 80s. Skies again continuing to clear as we go into the afternoon. Northeast breeze 5 to 10. Winds will shift out of the south tonight. Skies should be clear overnight, fairly mild, upper 60s, maybe even some low 70s. Tomorrow, though, again, hot, humid, muggy, just really uncomfortable. Low to mid 90s in some cases. We'll have those scattered storm chances Tuesday into Wednesday. Then as we head toward the end of the week, we dry out again. Temperatures really start to heat up. More low 90s across the area, and some additional thunderstorm chances as we roll into next week. That's Check Your Forecast. Now here's Elise with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. So the American Academy of Pediatrics has updated its guidance on how pediatricians should talk about contraception with their teen patients. Now, the new report covers several types of contraceptives, from long-lasting IUDs to the morning after pill. The AAP says pediatricians can be a trusted resource because of their typical long-standing relationships with families. And patients preparing for a major operation can feel okay just doing a video consultation with their doctor ahead of time. A new study from Amsterdam University Medical Center found patients will have the same level of information intake as an in-person visit and save time and money by not commuting to the doctor's office. And women who work at night are more likely to have asthma than women who only work during the daytime. UK researchers analyzed nearly 275,000 workers and found women who worked night shifts were about 50% more likely to suffer from moderate or severe asthma. They did not find this link for men who work at night. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, the City of Neodesha and USD 461 team up to showcase improvements to the city and schools.
And the fog thickening up for some of us out there, as you can see from downtown Pittsburgh. We'll have a look at the fog and our forecast for today coming up.
Plus, summer fun splashed into Grove, Oklahoma as the Toes in the Grand Festival return to Wolf Creek Park.
The 4 States Most Watched News starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. Happy Monday to you all. It is June the 16th. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. Oh, we had some rain here and there, but otherwise we
not
had
too bad.
Points where it wasn't that bad outside. Got to spend some time outdoors, and hopefully you did as well. And if not, maybe you've got some time to spend time outdoors today, because we have thunderstorm chances back on the horizon as we roll on Tuesday and Wednesday. Well, let's start with our Monday with that quick look outside downtown Pittsburgh. You can see the fog is thickened up a bit on our camera there in downtown Pittsburgh, and the fog tracker is kind of matching that for us as well. MoDOT camera 20th in range line, mostly cloudy skies, but not dealing with the same level of fog a little further to the south. But we've got Bourbon, Vernon, Crawford, Barton, and then the northern portions of Cherokee and Jasper counties with dense fog. Fort Scott, zero visibility. Pittsburgh, you're almost at that point. So we're talking 126. We've got 69, 54, number of highways out here. And then we have some dense fog, southeastern Delaware County, parts of western Benton County. So again, you folks at home know the drill. Low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you've got them, and of course slow down, leave distance between you and the person ahead of you, and just watch out because just on my way here, there were a lot of deer and other animals out this morning, so you don't want to run into any of those. Now once the fog clears at about 8-9 o'clock this morning, skies will continue to clear through the afternoon, starting to go partly cloudy, and then eventually we're looking at clear skies overnight. An isolated shower or storm is possible, but that chance is extraordinarily low, but there could be one or two of those out there. But those things change as we roll into Tuesday and Wednesday with thunderstorm chances increasing, some of which could be strong to severe. So tomorrow we have a level 3 out of 5 risk in some of our northwestern counties in the southeastern Kansas. But you see how quickly it tapers off, and that is because of a little caveat with these storms is as they roll in, this is a greater threat that's going to be Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. They begin to die out fairly quickly as well. At least current model data says they will die very quickly as they push into the rest of the area. We still want to keep a close eye on them. And then additional storms are possible on our Wednesday with a level 2 out of 5 risk over a good portion of the area as well. We're going to dive into the details on these storms and what we're looking at over the next couple of days here in just a couple of minutes for you. We're sitting at 66 in Joplin, 67 in Pittsburgh, and from the KDOT camera there you can see some of that fog off on the horizon. And as we take a look at temperatures around the region, a pretty decent start. Majority of us mid to upper 60s. So again, fairly mild. We've got Bentonville, Stockton, both a little bit warmer out there, sitting at 69. Temperatures today eventually into the mid to upper 80s, mid 70s by 9. Fog should be burning off by about that point. Skies again gradually clearing. 80 by noon, mid to upper 80s for those highs, and a northeast breeze at 5 to 10. In addition to the thunderstorm chances increasing tomorrow, temperatures increase, and with those thunderstorm chances, humidity dew point levels increase as well, making it quite muggy across the area. Details on all of that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Thanks. Well, the city of Neodesha, in partnership with the USD 461 School District, gave a presentation on the improvements being done to the school and city. The district shared updates on the Early Learning Center and announcements on scholarships from the Promise Scholarship Program.
People like to keep, nothing's wrong, don't change it, but there was, we saw a steady decline in our population for many years. And so you've got to really diagnose that and figure out how you fix that. The things we're doing now are fixing that. We've seen our numbers, population has increased, and I think that's evidenced through our growth in our school.
Everything that happened was part of this year's Hometown Days. Well, Saturday was Flag Day, and as a part of that day, the American Legion Post 13 was retiring old, tattered flags. Anyone wishing to retire their flag was encouraged to do so. Over 200 American flags were retired at Saturday's ceremony. Well, now you can stay up to date with the latest news, weather, and sports with the KOAM Plus TV streaming app. It's available on Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV Plus, and Roku. The player is also available on our news and weather apps as well as our website. You can watch live streaming anytime, absolutely free, the KOAM Plus TV streaming app. Well, summer fun hit the water in Grove, Oklahoma as Toes in the Grand returned to Wolf Creek Park. The 4-day festival brought together food trucks, vendors, live music, a carnival, and the Thunder on Wolf Creek boat races. Teams from across the country competed in high-speed hydroplane and roundabout races with events on Saturday and Sunday.
The camaraderie is great. You're hanging out at the lake. I love Grand Lake. I love Grove, Oklahoma. Being able to hang out here all weekend. They had bands last night that were fantastic. And, fellow racers, it's a lot of fun.
Admission was free and families were encouraged to bring lawn chairs. The festival ran June 12th through the 15th. A local blueberry farm held its opening day in Webb City Saturday morning. KOAM's Mitch Adams brings us more.
It's the first flush of berries, so they are loaded with blueberries. It's super easy to pick. It's like stripping grapes off of vines. I mean, they're just everywhere.
If you're purchasing blueberries in the 4 states, chances are that you're pulling them from a supermarket shelf. Bridgman Blueberry Farm opens their rows of blueberry bushes for the public to come pick.
So today is our opening day blueberry season. We're actually a couple weeks behind because of all the rain and lack of sunshine, but open today, people come and they pick their own blueberries and they pay by the pound.
Recent sunshine has ripened the berries enough to where they can be picked and eaten right from the bush. A tradition that started many years before new ownership, blueberry picking at the farm has been a staple for locals.
People have been coming here for years and years and years before we owned it. And before the owners before us owned it, they've been coming here for generations to pick blueberries, to bring their family and everything. Yeah, the families just love coming out and doing it.
Being a family-oriented event, one of the main goals of the farm is to get kids to recognize where their food comes from.
I think it's important to get the kids involved, and they come out, they see the blueberries on the bush, and they kind of put it together that where that produce that's sitting in their fridge really actually comes from, and there's actually labor and work involved in getting it off the bush. And it's something for them to do, to get outside and not just be behind a screen as usual.
Yeah, no, they don't do that anymore.
In Webb City, Missouri, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
According to Bridgman, some blueberry plants can take over 5 years to fully develop into a bush you can pick from. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. World leaders meet in Canada as global tensions rise with talks focusing on trade and infrastructure. Plus, Little Caesars is launching a Fantastic Four pizza. We'll have the details. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. And Consumer Watch this morning, President Donald Trump and other world leaders of the world's largest 7 economies, known as the Group of 7, are meeting in Canada today and tomorrow. The gathering has come amid ramped up tensions in the Middle East between Israel and Iran as President Trump's trade war. Now, Canada's Prime Minister says some key G7 agenda items will include shoring up mineral supply chains, using AI for economic growth, and tapping into private investment for stronger infrastructure. Well, a big weekend for live action remakes at the box office. How to Train Your Dragon soared to the top spot in its debut, hauling in more than $83 million. Disney's Lilo and Stitch was second with more than $15 million. And romantic comedy Materialist opened third with $12 million. And today, Little Caesars is also taking a bite out of the silver screen, launching a Fantastic 4-in-1 pizza to mark next month's theatrical release of the Fantastic Four First Steps. The deal gives customers 2 slices, each of 4 flavors: classic cheese, pepperoni, Italian sausage, and bacon, pepperoni, and jalapeno in collectible boxes for just $7.99. The Little Caesars is also partnering with Fandango to give customers $4 off a movie ticket to see the film with the purchase of $20 or more. And that's a look at Consumer Watch. Let's head over to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got that fog again getting a little thick for some folks out there this morning. We'll have another look at the fog and our increasing thunderstorm chances when we come back.
Cutting calories could have an unintended side effect. Details in today's Ag Day Minute.
Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. President Trump says he will issue an immigration order soon that could impact farmers. The president saying on his Truth Social site, quote, "Our great farmers and people in the hotel and leisure business have been stating that our very aggressive policy on immigration is taking very good, long-time workers away from them, with those jobs being almost impossible to replace," end quote. Now, President Trump going on to say this is not good. However, the Washington Post reporting on Friday there are no policy changes underway to exempt farm, hotel, and other leisure workers from the crackdown. That report citing 3 people who claim to have knowledge of the administration's immigration policies. Counting calories might not just be a pain, it could actually increase your risk of depression. A study of more than 28,000 U.S. adults found those on low-calorie diets, especially if they are overweight men, showed more symptoms of depression than those not dieting. The team at the University of Toronto also noted restrictive diets may deprive the brain of essential nutrients needed for mood regulation. U.S. online grocery sales are continuing to make gains. Brick Meets Click says online sales last month surged 27% compared to last year, with delivery driving nearly all of the gains. Officials say promotional deals continue to fuel stronger sales. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or get updates over at agweb.com.
Now let's head over to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, as we've been talking about this morning, we've got some dense fog across portions of the area. We've been showing you that from the camera in downtown Pittsburgh. So Fort Scott, you're back up to 0.2 of a mile visibility from 0. Not like it's much of an improvement, but dense fog over Bourbon, Vernon, Crawford, Barton, and then northern Cherokee and Jasper counties. That's where, including most of 69 through our coverage area here in southeast Kansas, portions of 54 as well, and stretching over toward I-49. And we have some dense fog southeastern Delaware, western Benton counties. So again, low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights, if you have them, slow down, leave space between you and the car ahead of you. And then, of course, watch out for all the animals. I don't know, this morning there were a lot more of them out than usual, it seems. So just keep that in mind as well. Now we have our thunderstorm chances to talk about as we roll into Tuesday and Wednesday. For today, an isolated shower or rumble of thunder will be possible, mainly in our far southeastern counties. The chance is very low, but it is there. It's a very low chance, but you could get a shower or rumble of thunder. Nothing big expected there. Skies clear through the afternoon into the overnight. Then before sunrise, clouds will thicken back up again. Got a few showers rolling into parts of southeastern Kansas. And then we'll have thunderstorms. Now, these thunderstorms are expected to be in a weakening state from activity that's going to take place later today off to our west. So by 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, we get these thunderstorms. And as you saw with that flare up there with that one cell, parts of Chautauqua County moving into Washington County, could still have some strong to potentially severe storms in the early parts of the day on Tuesday. Storms will be scattered throughout most of Tuesday, but again, a strong or severe thunderstorm is not out of the question. The greater threat will come overnight, very early Wednesday morning, maybe even early as midnight, 1 a.m., with this thunderstorm complex rolling in from out in parts of central Kansas. Now, this complex is expected to, and once I hit the play button here, you're going to see what we're talking about. It's expected to die very quickly. But before it does, it could be packing some pretty intense winds with it. But watch how quickly it fizzles out. Within just a couple of hours, it's done. It's now just showers as it crosses the state line, pushes to the south and east. Then as we go through the day on Wednesday, some additional scattered showers, a couple of thunderstorms will be possible. Some of those could be strong, potentially severe, but they're going to be fairly isolated in nature. It's going to be later on the day, Wednesday, and we see another round of showers and thunderstorms. And at this point, it's looking to remain confined along and south of I-44, but within that zone, and of course, things could change. If this boundary slows down a little bit, we could get these storms a little further northwest, but some of those could be strong to severe as well before they eventually clear out by late evening on Wednesday. So here's our threat over the next few days. Again, an isolated shower storm today, nothing that we're really concerned about. But tomorrow, and again, this is going to be more for that complex late tomorrow night, very early Wednesday morning. Parts of southeast Kansas in a level 3 out of 5 risk. Then you see how quickly, though, that risk area tapers off because, again, that complex should be in a weakening state state as it dives southeast. Then as we go through Wednesday, through the afternoon and again into the evening, we have a level 2 out of 5 risk for a good portion of the area. As for tomorrow's threats, though, all hazards are possible. Again, this is mainly going to be with that complex we see late tomorrow night, but we do have the isolated to scattered tornado threat out there. And then we have the isolated to scattered hail risk with the numerous just barely clipping parts of Greenwood County. But as I mentioned, wind is looking to be the primary concern with that complex for damaging straight line wind gusts across parts of southeast Kansas. So it is something that we're going to watch very closely over the next couple of days. As for today, though, again, we have those cloudy skies to start, some patchy fog through about 8, 9 o'clock. That'll burn off. Clouds will begin to gradually clear. We'll be in the low 70s to start, near 80 by 11 o'clock this morning, and it's going to be a hot day. Pushing into the mid-80s with the skies, again, gradually clearing. So some of you may have clear skies before others do, but about partly cloudy. Northeast winds 5 to 10. Clear skies overnight, back into the upper 60s, maybe some low 70s with a south breeze at 5 to 10. Clouds will start picking back up again 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. Now, in addition to the storm chances, temperatures 90, maybe some low 90s, but the humidity and dew point levels will rise as the fuel for some of these storms. So we're looking at heat index values tomorrow that could easily get close to 100 degrees. So if you're working outside, you're going to be outside, do keep that in mind for Tuesday. Low to mid 80s on Wednesday, heating back up in the low to mid 90s through the weekend, and maybe some scattered storms next Wednesday. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with sports.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, Saturday, the Joplin Outlaws narrowly lost to the Mid-America League's top team, the Sherman Shadowcats. Last night, they looked to split the weekend series. The Joplin Outlaws look for their first win against the Shadowcats this year. Now, in the bottom of the first, Maverick Williams cranks this ball deep to left, and it's way out of here, and Joplin jumps to a 2-0 lead. Now, the Outlaws get 2 more men on base, and with 2 outs, Tyler Broderick slaps this ball into right field. Another run comes home to score, and the Outlaws lead by 3 runs after the first. Heading over into the second, Connor Johnson gets the batter to look at a called strike 3. He finishes the day with 11 strikeouts. Bottom of the inning, Joplin gets its lead-off runner on, and it's Ravana Morgan's turn for a home run. Now this ball clears the wall in right, and the Outlaws lead 5-0 after 2, and it's only smooth sailing from there. The Outlaws take down the first place Shadowcats on a mercy rule, 10-0. And in the major leagues, both the Royals and Cardinals look to wrap up their series with wins on Father's Day. Now the Royals look to avoid getting swept by and Kansas City strikes first blood in the third. Bobby Witt Jr. lines a double into left field, and the Royals lead 1-0. Then with Witt on third, Vinny Pasquantino comes to the plate and shoots a single into center field to pad Kansas City's lead to 2-0. But in the sixth, Austin Wynns launches this ball to left and ties the game up with one swing of the bat. Now in the ninth, we're still tied, but Nick Kurtz gets a hold of this one. It clears the fence in right, and the A's are on top 3-2. Mason Miller comes in looking for the save and the sweep of the Royals. And he gets this strikeout to the end of the game, and the Royals lose their 6th straight one. The Cardinals look to split the series with Milwaukee. 4th inning, Brewers down 1-0. Christian Yelich takes Miles Mikolas the other way for the solo home run. Now his 14th of the year, and the Brewers tie it up at 1. 8th inning, Cardinals down 3-1. Ivan Herrera crushes this pitch to left for the solo shot. Cardinals bring it within 1. 9th inning, same score. The Cardinals have 2 runners on, no outs, and Trevor McGill strikes out not 1, not 2, but all 3 batters he faces. And the Cardinals drop the series finale 3-2. Let's look at sports. We'll be right back. Well, America's first military gets a send-off blast Saturday night to say thank you for 250 years of guarding the country. The U.S. Army, born out of the Continental Army of our founding revolution against the British, was celebrated Saturday to honor 250 years of service with a fireworks display that lit up the Washington, D.C. sky. Now, the colorful show was the concluding event to a day of an Army parade in the nation's capital, which featured marching troops in period uniforms and military hardware like tanks and helicopters. And yesterday was Father's Day, and if Father's Day were celebrated in the animal kingdom, a Galapagos tortoise at a zoo in Florida would really have a reason to whoop it up. Now, Goliath, who lives at Zoo Miami, recently became a father for the first time shortly before turning 135. Now, the tortoise is the zoo's oldest resident, as you can imagine, and Father's Day happened to fall on Goliath's birthday. Zoo officials say one egg out of a clutch of 8 that were laid in late January successfully hatched on June 4th. There's even more reason to celebrate. Besides being Goliath's first offspring, it's also the first time one of the endangered reptiles has hatched at Zoo Miami.
Certainly interesting. I'm glad I got my start a little bit earlier than that turtle did. Okay. But I mean, I know the animal kingdom's different, but still, that's kind of wild. But, you know, those are the animals. That the turtle's doing what he wants to do. As for us, you are going to want to slow down. Low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you've got them, because we do have some dense fog still, especially into Bourbon, Vernon, Crawford, and Barton counties. So just to be cautious. That fog could continue through 8, 9 o'clock this morning. Then skies will begin to clear. Low 70s to start, going into the upper 70s, near 80 by 11 this morning, ahead of highs into the mid and even upper 80s out there. And again, partly cloudy skies overall, but some of you may clear before others. I'll have a northeast breeze 5 to 10 miles an hour. Clear skies by late this evening and overnight. Another mild one, upper 60s, some low 70s, south breeze 5 to 10. Hot and muggy tomorrow as we go into the low 90s. Heat index values could approach 100 tomorrow, so do keep that in mind. Scattered thunderstorms start early in the morning. Those will continue through our Wednesday, and between these 2 days, some of those could be strong to severe. It will heat up into the weekend and dry out, low 90s as we roll into the upcoming weekend. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.